Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another remote recorder lesson. Today, we are going to talk about note length and keeping a steady beat while playing our recorder. But before we talk about that, let's review what we know, the things we've talked about in our previous two lessons. Now, by now, you should be familiar with the three parts of your recorder: the head joint, the body, and the foot joint. But what I'd like you to practice now is placing your fingers in the correct order with the left hand on top and the right hand on bottom. Place your fingers now, and then I'll review where each one goes, and we will check if you're right. Pause the video until you're ready. Now we know that on our left hand, we use our thumb to cover the back hole on our recorder, and our first pointer finger covers that first top hole. The second finger goes beneath, and the third finger on our top left hand goes under that. Now you should have your bottom hand, your right hand, with the first finger going underneath there, followed by the second finger, and with the third and the fourth finger covering both sets of the double hole. Now that we've mastered that, let's talk about the notes that we know. Here are the notes that we have already covered so far: low C, G, A, B, and D. And here is what the finger placement looks like for these notes: C, G, A, B, and D. To make sure we're ready for today's lesson, pause the video and practice these notes. Remember, you should have a nice posture, sitting forward in your seat with a straight back and your feet flat on the floor. You should be using a steady breath to get a nice, even note with no squeaking. So, pause the video, practice these notes, and when you're ready, we'll keep going. Now let's talk about note length. You may have seen these symbols while we were looking at pieces of music in our previous lessons, but now it's time to dig deeper and talk about them. The one here you see is a whole note. It is 4 beats long. A half note is 2 beats. A quarter note is 1 beat, and an eighth note is half a beat. But that's kind of hard to visualize, so I like to think of note lengths like Legos. A whole note, 4 beats, is like one long Lego brick. It takes 2 half notes to make one whole, and it takes 4 quarter notes to make one whole. And with the eighth notes, you see those are the smallest Legos there. And they are half a beat put together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 eighth notes to make one whole note. But let's see what that looks like. So, what I'd like for you to do is to put your hands flat on your legs and clap out a beat with me. Let's practice a whole note. It should sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Practice that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want, you can practice blowing a steady note into your recorder, low C, and practice counting to 4 in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is one whole note. Your half note will be 2 notes that sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you'd like, you can pause the video and practice blowing into your recorder. You will blow 2 breaths and count in your head 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 counts per note. And here are your quarter notes. They are 1 beat per count, and it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're practicing on your recorder, those will be short spurts of sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can pause the video and practice that now. And for our 8th notes, here's where it gets very fast. It'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4. Just like that. Very fast. But now that we have a good idea of our 8th notes, our quarter notes, our half notes, and our whole notes, we can dig deeper. Looking at our hot cross bun song from the week before, you can start to recognize the note lengths here. Do you see them? Are you looking for the quarter notes, the half notes, and the 8th notes? Here's the notes underneath, just in case we need to look at that again. B, A, G, B, A, G, 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 A, B, A, G. But now let's count out those notes. When we're starting back, should sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that make sense? Practice it yourself and see if you can play this song with the correct note lengths. When you're ready, press play and we'll keep going. Now that we have a good understanding of note length, let's learn some more. Now, here is a brand new note. This is note D. You can see it here. For note D, you're going to place your fingers like this. Your thumb on the back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you will leave that bottom double joint hole open. It should sound like this. Pause the video and practice it yourself. When you're ready, press play and we'll move on. The next note I want to teach you today is note E. It's very similar to D, but it looks like this. Thumb in the back, 1, 2, 3. And on your bottom right hand, 1, 2. That's it, leaving both sets of the double joint holes open. It should sound like this. Pause the video and practice E until you're ready to move on. The last note we're going to learn to play today is F, and it looks like this. Thumb on the back, 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 4. You will lift up that middle finger on your right hand. It should sound like this. Practice that note until you feel confident, and then we can move on together. Now, here are the notes that we know. Note C, G, A, B, D, lower D, E, and F. Here are the notes that we have already practiced together in previous lessons. And here are where our new notes will fit in. D, E, and F. And if you need a handy chart, here is what those 3 new notes look like. Pause the video here and practice moving in between the 3 notes. When you can move smoothly between all 3 with no squeaking, press play and we'll move on. And just in case you want to practice these notes one more time, here are the notes we have learned in previous lessons together. Now it's time to practice what you've learned today. Check out my S'more page and you will see that I have selected 3 new songs for you to learn and to practice. You will be combining what you have learned about rhythm, beat, and combining it with the new notes you have learned today. And I cannot wait to see you next time. Remember to practice, practice, practice. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Goodbye.